welcome back to another episode of Against the Grain. As you can tell, I am in a different spot. I mean, as always it seems to be with this, but I am at the US Women's Open here at Pebble Beach. I can show you guys kind of a little bit of the view. Yeah, there's some very nice houses. As you can see, it is a little bit windy out here, so if I do have to cover my mic, that is why. Yeah, as you can tell, it is a little bit windy. We are right on the ocean. So let's just get right into it, you guys. First off, thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who allowed me to stay in their house at Pebble Beach. They are the reason why I'm here. I would not be here without them. Otherwise, hotels were way too expensive and all of that. So honestly, thank you to them. And again, this wind, as you guys can tell, I am not only sunburned but also windburned, so that is fantastic. You know me, I always get sunburned out here in California. But again, let's jump right into it. I definitely have some maintenance people watching me, but that's okay. We're a member of the media. We're out here doing our thing. So I've been here for Thursday, Friday, and it's now Saturday. So yeah, it's been great. Honestly, probably one of the best tournament experiences of my life, hands down. Not just because it's at Pebble Beach, but because it's the US Women's Open. I've never been to the US Women's Open before, and the play here has been amazing. Sorry, this wind, this coastal wind keeps us on our toes here, and we'll get more into how the wind affects the play as we go along. But I think just starting out, I've been following Rose Zhang a little bit, the player from Stanford who recently turned pro. Nelly Korda, one of the top players in the world, her sister Jessica also plays, and their brother Sebastian Korda plays professional tennis. So I watched those two for a little bit, and then I also watched on Thursday Grace Summerhays, a fellow ASU player, well, not fellow because I don't play, but a fellow ASU student, and an ASU player, so it's great to see her make it. Yep, definitely just had some people look at me like I'm crazy because all the championship groups have gone through, so I'm just literally out here in no man's land. But yeah, so Grace Summerhays, she unfortunately did not make the cut, but again, great to see her and have her make this tournament. So I watched her for a little bit, and then Minji Lee, who is the defending champion. Oh my gosh, I can't English. I've been out here for way too long. I've literally walked over 20,000 steps each day. Yeah, it's been a lot. So done that, and then I watched her, but I used to standard bear for her back in Portland when I would work the LPGA Portland Classic. She's one of the nicest people ever. Her brother Minwoo Lee also plays on the PGA Tour, and he's a good golfer as well. So yeah, the golf has been amazing. Right now, I believe there are 3 tied at the top. Oh no, there's just one at the top. The leaderboard is right over, well, you can't really see it, but it's right over on the other side. I had to make sure I'm talking into my microphone. Probably not, but it's fine. Yeah, there's one right now at the top, Allison Corpus, and then another person, Bailey Tardy, who's a rookie out here on the LPGA, is doing well. She had the overnight lead at 2 shots at 7 under par, so that's really good to see. But kind of getting into the course conditions. Sorry, my arm is getting tired. But yeah, getting into the course conditions. I'm gonna move this way. Maybe not. Getting into the course conditions, like I said, it's been really, really windy, so the players have had to deal with that, and it's been playing kind of long. They moved the tees up a little bit, so made some of the holes shorter because it's been playing so long, and it's supposed to make it easier for them. And also, it's been very soft conditions, meaning the ball doesn't roll as far, that doesn't bounce as much. So again, for the shorter hitters, it's been really difficult. And as far as I've seen, they haven't moved a lot of the tee boxes up, but they've moved a couple of them for sure. So I don't think the scores have really been affected, again, because of this wind. Today it started picking up a lot sooner. It kind of started picking up around 10 o'clock, but because it did get sunny a lot earlier, or usually it had been getting windy around 2 o'clock, maybe noon. when the clouds would start to burn off. And again, even with the clouds, sis got sunburnt. So we just never learn our lesson, but it's okay. It'll turn tan. So yeah, but that's kind of the course conditions. This is the first U.S. Women's Open they've had here at Pebble Beach, and they're gonna have it again here. I know the men are coming here in 2027. I don't know if the women are or not, but it's the first time the women have ever had a championship here. The men have had multiple championships here. They've also had U.S. amateurs here as well. So now it's time for the women to shine here at Pebble Beach, which is really great to see. And what else can I say? Also, just kind of talking about like the fan experience. I know because I have a media pass, again, just flashing that fact, but yeah, I have a media pass, so I get a little bit, not even a little bit, I get better parking, and then I just take a shuttle ride in. It's really easy, and then I also get free food, so I can't really comment on how the food's been, but I did hear a little bit that it wasn't a lot of selections, and I know one of the selections was an acai bowl, which normally if I were in Phoenix, you don't have to ask me twice for one, but here when it is 60 degrees and windy and a little chilly, I do have 3 layers on. Not really the best choice, but I don't know. There is stuff for people, but just maybe not as many options as there could be. And then also with like getting in, it's been super easy. Getting around has been so much easier. Honestly, compared to the US Open, this has been a million times better. Not only because you're at Pebble Beach, just on the ocean, but also it's so much easier to walk around. Everywhere is paved, so kind of like this, it's like that everywhere you can walk on. There are hills. You can even tell I'm kind of on one right now, but you still, you don't have to go up them if you don't want to. There's something moving behind me. Yeah, you don't even have to go up them. You can still see the golf from everywhere. Everywhere is accessible. There's no points where it just cuts you off like it would at the US Open. So that has honestly been such a big bonus. You get to see so much more golf. You can just literally turn around and watch more golf, which is such a bonus for if you were to purchase a ticket, you get more golf for your money, which I thought was kind of something that lacked at the US Open and Los Angeles Country Club. So I do think they need to do a bit better job with that. I will say one thing they do need to maybe do a little bit better on is the bathroom situation. There are the typical golf tournament porta potties out here, but I don't think that there's enough of them. There's like 5 at some places. And then also more grandstands. There's only one behind 18 and one somewhere else. So I think definitely more grandstands because like I said, like at the US Open, there was like a whole grandstand around 18 and 9 and so many of them that you couldn't even walk up to the green. So I think maybe just, still having an area where you can go up to the green, but just having more grandstands for people to watch. Because like a moment like yesterday where someone like Michelle Wie and Annika Sorenstam are finishing and they're in the same group together, a lot of people are going to watch that. And the more grandstands you have, the more people that are going to be able to watch that. And also to touch on that, so if you guys don't know, Michelle Wie West she is a golfer. She just retired yesterday. Well, this was going to be her last tournament, so unfortunately she missed the cut along with Annika Sorenstam, but she's been playing professionally since she was 14. She won a US Open back in 2014 and just has been one of the biggest changers of the LPGA and just modernizing the game in a really big way. So that's been huge. And, just to see the impact she's had on women's golf has been incredible, along with Annika Sorenstam. She's now 53 years old, I think. So seeing the impact that Annika and Michelle Wie have had on the game has been really incredible. And even someone like Michelle Wie really influenced me. I kind of grew up in the Michelle Wie, Paula Creamer era, so really just seeing them and what she's done for the game has been amazing. And also, like, Michelle Lee's now on a podcast, and so kind of just like seeing that transition, you know, from going to golf to more of the broadcasting side has been something that I've also really looked up to with her, and also in just her family life and her personal life as well. Just kind of how she's gone about that has also been really inspiring. But also kind of touching on who I thought was going to win. So coming into this, I definitely looked at Nelly Korda. You know, she really hasn't played her best. She did have an injury. She's been struggling with her back lately. But, you know, she came back a little bit today at some point. She was 2 under at one point. But then unfortunately did fall back to even on her day. She's 5 over now for the tournament. The leader is at 6 under par. And then also Rosang. You can never count Rosang out at this point. I mean, you never could. But she shot the course record here last year, a 63 in her college tournament, and won that. So again, you just can't count her out. I believe she was having an even or 1 under day when I last saw her, but I followed her from like hole 3 to 15 or something, and I followed Nelly from 1 to 14 today. So kind of like, you know, getting a sense of both of those games. But yeah, right now it's kind of hard to tell who's gonna win. Again, Bailey Tardy's been looking really good. Also Allison Corpuz and H.J. Kim, they've all been looking really solid up there at 6 under. Bailey Tardy was at 7 under at one point, so it will be interesting to see what happens. But also another thing that, not like my legs though. But another thing that I wanted to mention was how respectful the fans are at this tournament. You don't really get that at the men's tournament, especially coming from Phoenix. You know, the waste management is kind of what I know, but it's just so much better out here. You know, of course you do still get the old white guys that kind of push and shove their way through. I did get elbowed a couple times by them, but you know, nothing I can't handle. So kind of just that. And then also, because this championship is at Pebble Beach, I think it's drawn a really big crowd, which is amazing to see. Like some of the groups following, like the gallery following Nelly and Rose, and even now the leaders, Allison and Bailey, has been incredible, and it's amazing to see for women's golf. There's something moving in these bushes behind me, like back there, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's amazing to see for women's golf. It's been incredible. So hopefully in the next few years in the future, they can keep this up and just really continue to build on these crowds. I think the women do need to start playing at more landmark courses. You know, they don't really play at the most well-known places. Like, for example, the Chevron Championship switched from a course in Mission Hills, California to Texas. And personally, I would rather go to Mission Hills than Texas. And, you know, they had a whole long-standing tradition there, and they kind of just wiped it out. And so I think kind of that's a big problem when you do kind of stuff like that. But I think just being here at Pebble Beach has really allowed the crowds to come out. So having, like I said, having their tournaments at more well-known courses, like even going to places like Torrey Pines down in San Diego, or some more well-known courses in Florida and Texas, and even coming back, they did just come back to Arizona this year, but they went out to Superstition Springs, which is about an hour east of Phoenix. And so kind of just, you know, even putting that tournament in Phoenix, even putting it at TPC Scottsdale, I think could be really helpful to the women, just getting more crowds, because when people realize what these women can do, it's amazing. And, you know, I've heard so many people this week say that these women are good, you know, and people are starting to realize it, and the awareness is coming to the game. And so yeah, I'm really excited for the future of women's golf, and honestly just for the opportunity to come here and film this podcast for you guys, filming all my TikTok content. But I'll give you guys an update tomorrow when I get back to Los Angeles on the leaders and who won the tournament because it will be over by then. Again, today is Saturday, so tomorrow it will be over. Unfortunately, I have to go back to Los Angeles. Not excited for that. I wish I could just stay here, but yeah. Hey guys, we are now back in LA, so that means it's time to update y'all on what happened at the US Women's Open. So by now, we have our winner. It's our post-championship week. So congratulations to Allison Corpus from Honolulu, Hawaii on winning the US Women's Open at Pebble Beach at 9 under par. And then second place was Charlie Hull and Jenny Shin at 6 under par for the tournament. And then also to note about this US Women's Open this year, it was one of the most watched according to Golf Digest, and it also attracted a lot of spectators. As this article on Golf Digest states, the event drew over 45,000 spectators over 5 days in a crowd of 11,000 on Saturday, which is huge for the US Women's Open and an event like this. And I think a lot of those people were following Rosing, including myself. And then also the USGA is coming out with all their audience numbers from the networks. It was shown on USA, and it has been the most watched first round of the Women's Open since Pinehurst in 2014, and 119% better than Thursday last year at Pine Needles for that championship. So it's really great to see these numbers go up, and like I said before at Pebble, like having it at landmark courses like this, having it shown on prime time on the East Coast and the West Coast at the same time has really been helpful. So I think kind of just incorporating those two things will really allow for the women to get more views and more of an audience, and an audience from all different walks of life, all different perspectives. You get men and women, you get the younger junior golfers and the older retired golfers. You can get it all, people of all sports. So it'll be really great to see how the USGA and the LPGA kind of continue with this newfound spike in viewership, you could almost say. But with that, that is kind of just our quick little update to tell you guys what happened, who won, some of the results that came out of this. Again, I have made a lot of content for my TikTok, which is at KatieGoodwin82. You can also follow the podcast Instagram at againstthegrain.pod. But until then, I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys again for being along for this journey. This podcast is honestly, this is the reason why I have this view right now. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.